Denny Hamlin just dropped a truth bomb that flipped the entire NASCAR world on its head. Let me be clear. This wasn't some offhand comment. This was a gut punch, a mic drop, a moment that made everyone stop and ask, is this really the end? Just days ago, Hamlin stood in front of reporters and said something no one saw coming. It doesn't make me want to race right now in this moment anymore. Those words came straight from a man who had just lost everything. Not money, not fame, but the moment. The one he'd chased for 2 decades. Gone. In seconds. He wasn't just upset. He wasn't just tired. He was broken. And in his voice, you could hear it. The voice of a man who had led 208 laps, dominated Phoenix Raceway, and with 5 laps to go, had a 3-second lead on the field. The championship was his. Everyone watching knew it. His crew knew it. His family knew it. Denny knew it. But then, the tire. William Byron, running second, blew a tire and hit the wall with 3 laps to go. Yellow flag, caution, chaos. And just like that, everything Denny Hamlin had built was ripped apart in front of millions. Now it came down to an overtime restart. 2 laps, 1 shot. Kyle Larson's team made a call. They bolted on just 2 tires. That was all they had left. Meanwhile, Hamlin's crew chief, Chris Gabehart, went for the safe play. 4 fresh tires. Fresh tires should win races. Except this time, they didn't. Hamlin restarted in 10th. From the front to mid-pack in 1 pit stop. The dream unraveling in real time. When the green flag dropped, Larson took off like a rocket. Hamlin fought with everything he had, but with 3/4 of a lap to go, it was over. Larson was too far ahead. The fairy tale was dead. Kyle Larson claimed his 2nd championship. Denny Hamlin had to face the deepest heartbreak of his career. And after the race, when cameras caught up to him, he could barely speak. He didn't want to talk about 2026. He didn't want to talk about contracts. He said the unthinkable. I never wanted to race a car ever again. My fun meter was pegged. That statement shook the NASCAR world, hard, and for good reason. Because this isn't just some driver. This is Denny Hamlin, one of the greatest to ever do it. The man who's won Daytona 3 times, a 60-race winner, a crown jewel killer, a first-ballot Hall of Famer with or without a championship. But in that moment, he was Carl Edwards. Remember 2016? Edwards lost the title on a late restart, said he'd be back, and then vanished from the sport forever. No goodbyes, no last race, just gone. Was Hamlin about to do the same? At the NASCAR Awards in Arizona, 2 days after the loss, Denny still looked shattered. A reporter asked him, "Will you race next season?" He replied flatly, "I plan to race because I have a contract." But then he dropped something far more chilling. "There's absolutely no way I could even think about race cars right now. I'm gonna need some time on this one." Read that again. This isn't just physical exhaustion. This is soul-level burnout. And it gets heavier. Hamlin revealed that his 2 daughters cried for hours after the race. He had to sit them down and explain a truth no parent ever wants to explain. Life isn't fair. Things don't always happen the way they should. At 45 years old, Hamlin is the oldest full-time driver in the Cup Series. He's already signed through 2027 with Joe Gibbs Racing. Most believe this will be his final contract, the farewell tour, the final run. But then, on his own podcast Actions Detrimental, Hamlin said something nobody expected. Something that changes everything. Yeah, I mean, listen, I would have begged Joe to let me quit had I won that race. I would have, because it would have just been the perfect way for me to go out. Wait, what? Had he won at Phoenix, he wouldn't have just taken the trophy and popped champagne. He would have walked away, retired on the spot, done, gone. He said Joe Gibbs Racing isn't ready for that. They need time to prepare for his exit. They've started working on a succession plan. They've even set a date. They know what the lifeline looks like. But had he crossed that finish line first, Denny Hamlin would have ended it all. And that changes everything. Every athlete dreams of it. Going out on top, raising the trophy high, walking away into the sunset with nothing left to prove. But in NASCAR, that perfect ending almost never happens. Jeff Gordon came close in 2015. He won at Martinsville, made the championship 4, but finished 3rd in points. Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champ. His final season in 2020, no wins, no playoffs, just a quiet, painful goodbye. Dale Earnhardt Jr., same story. Final year, no wins, no postseason run. Martin Truex Jr., retired after 2023, 0 wins, eliminated in the first round. But Denny Hamlin, He was right there, 5 laps away from doing the impossible, 5 laps away from being the one who broke the curse, the one who finished the job. And then it vanished. That's why this hurts so much. Because Hamlin didn't choke, he didn't mess up. He ran a perfect race, led 208 laps, took care of his tires, managed the field. He did everything right. And still, he lost. He told the media this Phoenix heartbreak was the deepest wound of his career. He said nothing else compares. He used a line from Carl Edwards to describe it. I knew what it was like to be a champion. I felt it. The race was over. I knew it. But the trophy? It never came. The pain was raw, real. And then Hamlin dropped another revelation. If he had won, he would have begged Joe Gibbs to let him walk away right then and there. But they're not ready for that yet. They have to have time to work on my succession plan. And we obviously set a date now. Let me explain what that means. The clock is ticking. Hamlin's not just thinking about retirement. He's planning it, quietly, behind the scenes. The date has been set. The goodbye is coming. And when it does, NASCAR will lose one of its fiercest competitors, a driver who's won everything, except the one thing he wants most. Let's not forget, Hamlin is more than just a driver. He's a team owner. He's raising a young family. His father is terminally ill. He just had a newborn. He's balancing a lawsuit between 23-1 Racing and NASCAR itself. And oh yeah, he was still out there fighting for a title through all of it. 2025 wasn't just exhausting. It was draining. This year was taxing, Hamlin admitted. I'm just looking forward to January 1st. I need a fresh start. But even in defeat, Hamlin did something no one expected. He showed up to Kyle Larson's championship celebration. That's right. After losing the race of his life, after seeing his dreams crushed right in front of him, he still walked into that party. Why? Respect. Larson is one of Hamlin's closest friends in the sport, and Denny said he hoped Larson would have done the same for him. Larson later said, "It truly meant a lot. The conversation was awkward. I didn't know what to say. I could see the pain in his eyes. But Denny still showed up, because that's who he is. A competitor, a warrior, and above all, a man who understands the weight of this sport." Hamlin could have retired 5 years ago and still been a Hall of Famer. He has 60 Cup Series wins, more than any other driver in history without a title. He's won every crown jewel race multiple times. He's built 23 Kexuan Racing into a real threat. He's carried Joe Gibbs Racing's flagship car for over 2 decades. But that missing championship? It still haunts him. And now, we know the end is coming. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. The only question left is this. Will Denny Hamlin finally get the ending he spent his whole life chasing? Or will he be remembered as the greatest driver never to win it all? Let me know what you think. Should Hamlin have walked away already? Or should he fight one last time for the trophy that keeps slipping through his fingers? Drop your thoughts below, because this story isn't over yet.